Welcome to Epochs Across Eras, where we travel through history's defining moments to uncover the epic stories that shaped our world. Today begins a brand new journey into one of the most dramatic eras in Chinese history, the Three Kingdoms period. But before empires rose and heroes clashed, there was collapse. The Han Dynasty, once a symbol of strength and order, unraveled from within. Corruption, rebellion, and chaos tore at its foundations, making way for a century of war and transformation. In this first episode, we peel back the layers of decline to understand how the fall of the Han Dynasty planted the seeds for Wei, Shu, and Wu. Join us as we step into a crumbling empire on the edge of change. Imagine an empire where the emperor is powerless, the court is corrupt, the people starve, and rebellion brews in secret shrines. This was China in the final days of the Han Dynasty, a realm fraying at the edges, ruled by greed and haunted by hunger. While later legends would celebrate heroism and strategy, the Three Kingdoms era began in darkness. The fall of Han was not sudden. It was slow, painful, and filled with warnings unheeded. To understand how China entered its most legendary age, we must begin with the cracks that split its greatest dynasty apart. At the heart of the Han court lay not wisdom or strength, but manipulation. As the dynasty aged, emperors increasingly relied on palace eunuchs to manage court affairs. These eunuchs, initially trusted servants, evolved into power brokers. By the reign of Emperor Ling, 160 to 189 CE, they dominated the palace. The most infamous among them were the 10 attendants, led by Zhang Rang. They sold offices, influenced imperial appointments, and silenced dissent. Ambitious generals and Confucian scholars alike found themselves trapped in a rigged game. Those who spoke out faced exile or death. The partisan prohibitions of 166 and 169 CE marked a dark turning point. Honest Confucian scholars were banned from office, labelled as troublemakers by eunuchs protecting their interests. Meanwhile, the emperor, young and pliable, drifted deeper into ceremonial seclusion, leaving the empire in the hands of manipulators. Shadowy palace interiors, secret bribes, silenced officials, and scrolls thrown into fire. Zhang Rang whispering behind the throne. While the elite squabbled, nature delivered its judgment. Northern China faced successive disasters: floods, locust swarms, earthquakes, and famine. Millions were affected, crops failed, livestock died, people resorted to eating bark or corpses. In ancient Chinese belief, natural disasters reflected heaven's displeasure. A just ruler had the mandate of heaven. An unjust one invited chaos. The suffering populace saw omens everywhere, and they were right. Change was coming. As tax burdens rose to pay for corrupt officials' luxuries, the countryside erupted in quiet fury. Wealthy landowners exploited desperate farmers, forcing them into debt or outright slavery. Roaming bandits and starving peasants became indistinguishable. Cracked earth, dying crops, peasants praying, abandoned villages, families collapsing under debt. From this despair rose a new voice, Zhang Jue, a Taoist healer with mystical charisma. Zhang claimed he could heal the sick and restore balance. He preached the way of supreme peace, a vision of divine harmony to replace the corrupt Han rule. His followers, wearing yellow headscarves, became known as the Yellow Turbans. they spread rapidly across 8 provinces. Their belief? The Han had lost heaven's favour. A new age must be born. In 184 CE, they acted. Uprisings erupted across China. Imperial armies faltered, unprepared for the scale of the rebellion. Local officials fled. Villages fell. Zhang Ju's movement was both spiritual revolution and social explosion. The court, desperate, empowered regional generals to raise their own armies. These generals, Cao Cao, Liu Bei, Sun Jian, began their rise not through ambition, but necessity. Though Zhang Jue died in the early days of the conflict, his legacy was sealed. The Han had survived the Yellow Turban rebellion, but at the cost of its authority. Zhangzhut preaching, temples burning incense, peasant armies marching, yellow banners fluttering, stunned court ministers. With the emperor increasingly irrelevant and the court in chaos, the real power now lay with the generals. Chief among them was Dong Zhuo, a brutal, ambitious man who marched into the capital in 189 CE under the guise of protecting the child emperor Xian. Once inside Luoyang, Dong Zhuo turned protector into puppet master. He executed his rivals, exiled the Empress Dowager, and declared himself chancellor. The capital burned. Fear ruled. The emperor was little more than a pawn. Horrified, a coalition of warlords formed to remove Dong Zhuo, led by Yuan Shao, with future legends like Cao Cao and Sun Jian among their ranks. Though the alliance failed to defeat him immediately, their actions revealed a truth no one could ignore. China was now ruled by competing warlords, not the emperor. The Han still existed on paper, but in reality it was over. Each region became a military stronghold. Each general dreamed of kingship. Dong Zhuo in full armour, the capital in flames, map fracturing into warlord territories, imperial seals abandoned. The fall of the Han Dynasty was not marked by a single event, but by a cascade of failures. Corruption, famine, spiritual unrest, and warlordism pulled the empire apart piece by piece. But from its ruin came something new. The Three Kingdoms era would emerge, an age of ambition and valour, of strategy and sacrifice. It would be remembered not just in records but in legends. Romance of the Three Kingdoms would immortalise its figures, but it all began here, in the shadows of a collapsing court. In our next episode, we return to the spark itself, the Yellow Turban Rebellion, and how one man's vision ignited the fury of millions. Thank you for watching Epochs Across Eras. If you enjoyed this journey through history, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Let's keep exploring the past to uncover the stories that shaped our world. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep exploring the epochs that define us all.